Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode in my Unreal Engine 5 Fundamentals tutorial series. Hope you're getting on well. So today we are going to look at a basic but pretty core mechanic in game development. We're going to be looking at overlap events. So I have an example or two. The first one we are going to look at is actually the gun here. So you'll see this sphere surrounding the gun, and once a character enters that sphere, we're going to pick up the gun. And we have another one in our, let's say, our projectile. So if we actually look closely to this projectile, there's actually a collision sphere surrounding that sphere. And it's when you collide with that component that the damage is going to be dealt. One last example I have this is even looking back at older games. We have a game like Mario here. So I know we're dealing with spheres here, and we're going to be dealing with rectangles, but it even goes back to older games like Mario, where we'd have this sprite and it would have a square, and every tick it would check to see if its overlap, its little square, overlaps any part of, let's say, a coin to destroy the coin. It's the same way that bullets work in Space Invaders. Even things like, let's say Mario stomping on the Goomba. There would be an overlap event, and then you would check which side of Mario is touching it. If it's the bottom, crush it. If it's the side, kill Mario or deal damage to him. We are going to be looking at doing pickups a few different ways today. They're all going to involve overlap events. So I think let's get a basic one set up, and then let's get more and more complicated, and let's talk about different ways of doing it. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to make a new actor. I'm going to call this B underscore pickup. So this is my base for all pickups. And once I'm in here, I'm going to add a new component. I'm going to go to sphere collision, just to make things easy. And I'm actually going to click on that, and I'm going to drop that on top of the default scene root. That makes the sphere the base for all other actors in terms of position, things like that. I'm going to go to add, and for the first one, I am going to, let's add a capsule, static mesh, apologies, static mesh, and in static mesh, let's make that a narrow capsule. Perfect. Just for the moment, I'm going to scale that down. I think maybe about 0.4 will probably do. And I'm just going to drop that kind of more in the middle of the collision component. Now you can change the color if you want. I might just do it just to make it a little bit more visual. There we go. Now, if we go to the sphere here, which will be the sphere here, I am going to make a new on component begin overlap. So let's click here. So when a actor overlaps at sphere, what's going to happen? Well, let's just give it a quick test to make sure everything is up and running. Let's just destroy it. Let's just break the actor. So I'm going to compile, save. I'm going to drag it out into the world. I'm going to hit play, walk into it, and it's gone. Brilliant. Now let's build up our logic and things like that. So we were looking at, let's say, the projectile shooting and dealing damage, and let's say the coins in Mario. But let's make our first one a let's make it heal the character. We have health on our character, so let's use it to heal the character. I am going to build this in a way that we're going to get a little bit more complicated than probably needs to be at the start, but we're going to be building in such a way that we're going to be able to quickly add more pickups and more pickups faster and faster. So if you were doing like a basic item inventory, this kind of inheritance would make perfect sense. So when we begin overlap, let's call a custom event, and this custom event is going to be called on pickup. So whenever we try to pick up an item, what are we going to do? That pickup is going to do two things. It's going to call two events in sequence. So one is I'm going to call custom pickup. So this is what the individual pickup is going to do, and I'm going to make one other event, and this I'm going to call complete pickup. So when the pickup is finished. So when we're done picking the item up, by default we are just going to destroy the pickup. So drag that into there. Now let's call the on picked up event. So I'm going to drag this out and on pickup. So we're going to call on pickup. That's then going to call the custom pickup, and then we're going to chain that into complete pickup. So once more, what we're doing is we overlap with the object. We then call this event. This event will first call the custom pickup. It'll then complete the pickup. So we can leave the custom pickup just for the moment. This all looks pretty good. The one thing is that as this stands, this would mean that any actor that walks into the sphere will cause this. We don't want that. We only want that for the first person. So if we drag out other actor and let's cast to first person character, and let's drag this in here. Now, this means that we will check if the actor is a first person character. If it is, we will pick up the item. Now, on pickup, it would be super handy if we could actually get the information for the first person character. So let's create a new input and select first person character, object reference. I'm just going to call this player so we know what we're talking about. And we might do that for custom pickup as well. Add a new input. And it should come up automatically. Pass it to player. Brilliant. So now drag as BP first person character into player and player into player here. Now I'm going to compile, I'm going to save, and with that we have a both simple but really effective way to handle pickups. Now I'm going to come out of pickup, I'm going to right click, create child blueprint class, and I'm going to call this BP underscore health pack. I'm going to click it, drag it in. I'm actually just going to get rid of that basic pickup. So the health pack, I am going to come in. I might just change the material. Let's change it to what looks nice. What looks nice. Let's change it to gold. Why not? I don't know, gold, because I'm thinking about Mario coins. And while we are here, I am going to come to the first person character, and I might add an event tick, and we might just add a delay. So every 1 second we are going to print our health. If you did the homework from the UI, then you should show your health on the screen. But if you didn't, this print will work too, just to make sure that we have things working. Now, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to walk into the health pack, and then we're going to want to increase our health. So we have a way to show our health. but we need a way to increase our health. Now, because we created this custom pickup event, we can actually call that event event custom pickup. And what we can do is we can get the player, we can get the health, set health, and let's set the health to the current health plus 50. Why not? So every time we pick up one of these, we add 50 health to ourselves. I'm going to hit play, and we should have 100 health ticking at the top. I'm going to walk into this pill, and now you'll see we have 150 health. Absolutely wonderful. Now, that's an incredibly crude way of doing pickups, but again, it's just an example. Now, we are going to run through two other ways that we could do pickups. So if we go to our first person character, let's add a new keyboard event. I am going to set it to keyboard V, just because it's a handy keybind for me. Now, what I am going to do is show how we can, sorry, I'm just going to undo the begin overlap for the sphere. I'm going to show you how we can get a way for the player to actually pick up all nearby items manually. So we have one capsule component, but we're going to add another, and I'm going to add a box collision. Let's just drag it out here in front of the character. You can resize this how you want. I'm going to make this pretty big, kind of, you know, arms reach away, just like that. Going to compile, save. Now, I'm going to go back to the event graph, and when we press Y, we're going to get that box, and we are going to get overlapping actors. And what we can actually do is we can apply a filter to this, and that filter is going to be B underscore pickup. So anything that is either the base pickup item or any children of it, we're going to do a for each loop. So for every item that is a child of pickup within the box, we can call that on pickup event. So let's on oh sorry, we need to apologies, we need to cast to be underscore pickup. Apologies for that. Now let's then on pickup, and for the player we can pass through ourself. So we coded it quite crudely, but now you can piece it together and you can use it however way you want. So everything will actually work the same. So if I come over here, come over to this pill here, I can't walk into it or anything. You can change the collision if you want, but I can hit V and it's going to pick up the pill. Now I can also, let's say, stash a bunch of these around here. I'm going to hit play, come over to them, I'm going to hit V, and I can pick them all up. The final type of pickups that we are going to do in this tutorial are going to be activated pickups just for one single item. So if we go back into the first person character, what we can do is we can, let's say, make a new variable. I'm going to call this the pickup item. And now what I'm going to do is set this to a b underscore pickup. Now, what we can do is when we press V, instead of looping through all of these, we're just going to pick up one single item. Now, we have used something like this, or Unreal Engine have used a default version of this on a binding for an unused item, which is back in b underscore rifle. But instead of just binding it there, I want to set it as a variable. So I am going to go back into our first person character, sorry, apologies, back into the event graph. So when our overlap component, maybe what I'll do is I'm going to drag this just down here just so we can get it all set up. When our component, when we do the begin overlap, let's cast to the first person character, and then let's set the pickup item to the item itself. Now, what this can do then is when we press V, and when that is pressed, we are going to get the pickup item, and we can call that pickup event, and we can pass this through as self. So let's give that a go. I'm going to come over to the items here. I'm going to hit V, and it's only going to pick up one of them. Now, something you're going to notice is that I'm going to have to walk away and walk back in before I can pick up another one. That's because we have a event that's only going to be called when you start overlapping. So something else that we could do just for the moment is, why don't we show something on the UI? You could get a little text. Let's say I'm going to put it here, and by default I'm going to set it to nothing, but we could create a binding, and that binding could be the player get, and then we could get the pickup item, and you could sorry, apologies, if we go to b underscore pickup, we could create a new variable. We could give it a name, set it to the text. This could be really, really cool, and then we can get the name from that pickup item. Let's pass it through. So we know exactly what we are going to pick up. Health pack. I'm just going to go into class default and set the name here. Health pill. Let's go over here, and there you see health pill has come up. Now I'm going to hit V. It's going to go away. I'm going to walk away, and I can pick up another health pill. Brilliant. Now, with that, we are going to get a whole bunch of other errors. Apologies, can't talk. So let's do something similar to what we did with the texts. So only if the pickup item is valid, B, and click to bring up a branch. Only if the health pill is or sorry, the pickup item is valid, are we going to set text? Otherwise, we are just going to set the return node to false. Now, that looks a lot better. But if the item is picked up, it would be nice if we could check to see if any other items were there in the overlap. So maybe let's do that. So what we actually could do is we could then compile, save, use the box collision, get overlapping actors. Let's go b underscore pickup. We could get any of them, and we could let's actually check. We can actually check the length. Sorry, 1 second, guys. I'll go through this in 2 seconds. So the length is if we count the array. So how many items are in a, basically a list. So if the length is 0, less than 1, so it's 0, what we are going to do is we are going to set the pickup item to nothing. Else, we are going to, let's get a copy of the first item in the list, and let's set the pickup item to that. Cast to b underscore pickup, and let's set that to that. So let's give this a go. I'm going to click play. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to be able to pick them all up. I'm really liking that so far. Hey guys, so this is future editing Moody Dev. Just looking back on the next part that I'm gonna go through. I'm kind of waffling, and I wanted to really just make the lesson really just give you as much as I possibly could. So it's probably a lot more complicated than we probably need for this game, but I wanted to run through it so that you guys can make your own games the very best that you can. Anyway, you can stick with the rest of the lesson. Otherwise, feel free to jump on to the next one if I've released it yet. Talk to you later. Now, one other little thing that we might want to do is we might want to come into our first person character here, and rather than just getting the first overlapping actor, what I want to do is, instead of just checking the length, we'll do that, that's fine. Instead of just getting the first one, what I am going to do is I am going to do another for each loop. And what we're going to do is, instead of just getting the first item we get, let's make it so that the closest item to us is the item that we're going to pick up. So that means that we can walk away and we can come back, and whatever the closest item, like, we can position ourselves as to what item we're expecting to pick up. So what I am going to do is I am going to get the first item, sorry, apologies. Let's get the first item and let's set the item to that, just as a start. So no matter what, there's always going to be an item being set to be picked up. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we are going to go through each of the items. I'm probably explaining this really badly, but hopefully we'll get there eventually. We're going to go through each of the items and we are going to get the pickup item, and we are going to get the distance to self, and we are going to do the exact same thing with the item that we're trying to pick up. So we're going to check which item is closer to which. Oh, sorry, less than. Apologies. I'm sorry. I'm actually flipping my logic here. Cool. Right. So we're going to check if the item is closer than the first item that we found, and that means that every time we run through this, if there's ever a closer item, we'll set that to the item that we're going to pick up. And if it's true, what we are going to do, we are going to set that item as the pickup item. Now let's get this cast here again, just to make things easier. And just drag this into here and connect this up here. Let's just have a quick run through that code again. So, a little bit messy, but we'll get there eventually. Maybe we can add a just a reroute node just to make things a little bit clearer here. Cool, right. So, once we've picked up an item, we're going to get all the items that are within the range of the first person character to pick up. If there is any of those items, we're going to set the first item if there is any items, we are going to set the first item to the item that we're going to pick up. Then we're going to go through all of the other items, see if any of them are closer to the player than the current item that's going to be picked up. And if it is closer, we're going to set that to the next item to be picked up. If there isn't anything in that array, what we're going to do is we're going to say that we're not going to pick up an item. So we should be able to come, let's say, over here, and I'm going to hit V, and it's going to pick them up as the closest to furthest. So a whole bunch of different things showing off here anyway, so I hope that, I don't know, we've learned a lot. The next episode that we're going to do, we are probably actually going to just have a real quick lesson just on overhauling the damage system, and from there what we're going to do is we are going to work on another overlap. We're going to be using pickups to pick up grenades, and then we're going to be creating a new object for a thrown grenade, and after 2 seconds the grenade is going to explode. It's then going to use another overlap, detect any actors that are within that location, and then it's going to deal damage to those actors. So in the next 2 episodes, hopefully we should have a nice little overlap lesson for you. It's also going to be one of the first kind of projectile-y things that we're going to be working on, so hopefully we'll enjoy it. This episode was a little bit longer than expected, so thanks for sticking with me, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe, stay sound, stay awesome. Talk to you soon.